Hello YouTubers and fellow creators. Today we're going to be talking about breadboards and the various different kinds that you can get and how they are going to work into your everyday projects. Let's get started. Well, here we have an MB102 830 point breadboard. This is the larger of the breadboards that you find in shops. They're pretty easy to identify. They have the final pin markings at 60. There's 10 channels going across. Let's see here. What can I tell you? Okay, let's start with the positive and negative power rails. You have the positive and negative. Now the positive, as I mentioned in a previous video, this runs all the way down this whole board. And the same thing will happen with the negative. That's the blue negative. It runs all the way down this channel. And one thing that you'll notice is that you have the red plus sign and the red line. The red line and the blue line for the negative. Those two run all the way down the board just for reference when you're working. Same thing on the other side. You have the red positive, blue negative. And again, these run the full length of the board. Here we have the positive on the left and the positive on the right. Now remember, this is not mirrored, so don't go thinking that the negative is always on the inside. That's not the case. So just keep that in mind when you're working on your projects. Here we have our rows, and each row has column markers A through E. A through E are all connected. Now, if you put a pin in pin A1, it's going to be doing the same thing across all of these, all the way to E1. This center channel divides both sides, the left side and the right side, so there's no current jumping back and forth between the two sides. Now, F through J are also connected, and I will show you here in a second about what I mean by connected. Let's take a look at this computer animation that I did. In every hole of the breadboard, there's a small metal insert. This is what makes contact with any wires that you put in there. Each of these small metal inserts are then connected via these small metal troughs that touch the outsides of those inserts. The same thing happens with the power rails along the side. The positive and negative rails run the full length of the board. Now let's take a look at another type of breadboard that you can get. It's pretty much the same as what we just talked about, and it is just a little bit smaller. It has all the same components of the side power rails of positive and negative. It's upside down, so I'll flip it over. We have positive and negatives. Again, it's color coded. Positives, red, runs the full length of the board. You have the blue, does the same thing. You have the same markings going across. We have pins A through E and F through J. And again, those are separated by that center channel. This is for a smaller kind of project, perfect for Arduinos. It's about half the size of the other board. And yeah, both of these will suit your needs for an Arduino. One thing to take note are these little side tabs, which actually allow you to connect multiple breadboards together. So if you have a really big project, you can just make a huge breadboard. So that's pretty much it for these types of breadboards. Another type of breadboard that you may find are these little suckers. Now the thing about these little breadboards is that they look kind of similar. They have that center channel, they have a left and right side, and they have a bunch of pins that are arranged in rows, and you have columns. But at the same time is that you have to keep in mind that these pins, these 5 pins here, are connected. There is no vertical connections. You have these 5 pins connected. Again, 5 pins, separator, 5 pins. There's no rails on this thing, so there's no positive and negative rail that runs the length of these things. They're small enough that if you want, you can piece them together, put some hot glue on them, make yourself a little bit bigger of a mini breadboard. But other than that, these things are all pretty straightforward. And again, you have all horizontal connections. There's no vertical connections. And that's about it for these little guys. So here are the 3 different types of breadboards. You have this main one, which is good for bigger projects. I highly recommend this as your main breadboard. This one here is when you start getting a little bit more experience, then you can start playing around with trying to miniaturize your projects. A very good board. And these ones are when you become some sort of pro, which I am not, but at the same time, it gives you the full functionality. You just got to remember there's no full length rails. But other than that, they're nice little boards. I can put an Arduino Nano on this thing, no problem. It runs fine. And yeah, that's about it. So that pretty much summarizes what all these different little breadboards are capable of. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe and we can start building some fun stuff and failing later on. So thanks. Come back again.